Week 6 draws to a close with Sunday Soccer, an Eastern Conference clash between FC Cincinnati 2 and New York Red Bulls 2, one of the hottest teams in the East on the docket. Welcome inside Scudamore Field at NKU Soccer Stadium, along with our Season Pass crew. I'm Jake Griffith. A pleasure to have you alongside us. New York Red Bulls 2 off to their best 5-match start, dating all the way back to 2019 when they were in the USL Championship. One of just 4 unbeatens left in MLS NEXT Pro, and their offense has been just as hot. 8 goals scored, 7 of them scored by 7 different players. That will challenge FC Cincinnati 2, a team who has conceded 7 goals this year, one of the least stingy defenses in MLS NEXT Pro. The starting 11 now, first for FC Cincinnati 2 and head coach Tyrone Marshall, going with a 3-5-2. 2 changes from match week 5. Keep an eye on Kinji and Bomadim, 35 out there on the left-hand side. He leads this team in chance creation, and Bomadim just 1 assist this season in 4 appearances. Looking to get him going. He really is the catalyst for this FC Cincinnati 2 offense. Tyrone Marshall calling him the table setter for FCC2. For New York Red Bulls 2 and head coach Ibrahim Sekagaya going with a 4-3-3 formation for Red Bulls 2. Just 1 change in this 11 from their win against Chicago Fire 2 in match day 5. That's Julian Hall. Hall this season leads the team in goals, 2 goals, 1 assist. He goes to the bench, not in the 18 today. Rossborough comes in out wide on the right-hand side, had 4 shots in that win against Chicago Fire 2, but created 0 chances. So with their leading point getter in Hall going to the bench and not playing today, they'll need more out of Tanner Rossborough out wide. Rossborough does have 1 goal to his credit this year. York Red Bulls, they've had great success in this series since jumping over to MLS NEXT Pro. 3-0-1. 2 of those 3 wins all time have come against FC Cincinnati on the road. They've done very well in Highland Heights, Kentucky. 3-0-1 this season is New York Red Bulls 2. Won back-to-back contests, 1-0-1 on the road this year, including that win against Chicago Fire 2 to run their win total to 3-0-1. The whistle sounds, and we are underway in Highland Heights, Kentucky, between FC Cincinnati 2 and Red Bull New York. A quick clearance away. Carlos Rodriguez, our center referee this afternoon. Cincinnati in the white, Red Bull New York in the brownish kits. Here is Cincinnati, worked up on this near touchline and out for an FC Cincinnati throw in. FC Cincinnati 2 started very strong in what was ultimately a 2-2 draw and a shootout win against NYC FC2 in their previous match. Tyrone Marshall has said it throughout this season that yes, the results right now aren't necessarily coming, but he feels like they're just 1 or 2 moments away from this being a completely different season. And now back-to-back matches with back-to-back strong starts. He says the biggest reason why that's happened is they're starting to get healthy. Suffered some knocks in preseason, a handful of FC Cincinnati 2 players training with the first team. And now here is Kinji and Bomadim out wide, looking to play Daly back through, and Aiden Stokes will run out and grab that. Aiden Stokes getting his 5th consecutive start in net for Red Bull New York 2. Had 8 saves in a match against New England Revolution 2 last season. 4th most in a match in club history. Some trouble at the back for New York Red Bulls. That ball poked free, and FC Cincinnati 2 will hold on to the possession. Long pass into an empty space, no one on the receiving end. Cincinnati 2 did have some success with the long balls in that result against New York City FC 2. Completed 38% of long passes. One of their highest marks in a match this season. Stokes with it now. Again, some issues with the clearance now for Red Bull New York, trying to work it up that far touchline. FC Cincinnati 2 right now, relentless with that high press, and it earns them a throw-in in an advantageous spot. Quickly taken. And then as again attacking out wide, and Bomadim will run it down, and it earns a corner for FC Cincinnati 2. Bomadim, the 1 assist, 6 chances created this season for Kinji and Bomadim. He'll have it, swings it in. Covered well defensively by Red Bull New York. This booted high in the air. Danger not averted quite yet. A whistle and a foul. Free kick given to New York Red Bulls 2. This Red Bulls 2 coaching staff coming into this match said they've acknowledged that, yes, they are a balanced team. They've turned in some really good results so far this year, but they're still young and they're still learning their way through. Ibrahim Sekagaya, head coach, said that he wants to see the young players continue to learn from some of the more experienced veteran players that are on this New York Red Bulls 2 roster. And the biggest thing is, he says they need to learn how to finish games better. Was disappointed with the stoppage time goal given up against Chicago Fire 2. Jarvis settles on it, works it over to Mosquera. Combination play through the middle, trying to form those passing triangles, and Jarvis gets into a good spot, draws a whistle as Mangione will take him down, and that's a free kick given to Red Bull New York. Mosquera and Mehmeti, the homegrown signing, both hover over it. Mosquera with the left, curls it to that back post, and Paul Walters is there, the 22-year-old Ohioan. 4 appearances, all starts on the season for Walters. Had 3 saves 2 matches ago against Chicago Fire 2. Common opponent these two sides share. Poked back ahead, out of the reach, and Walters will claim that one. Mosquera. Real issues at the back right now for New York Red Bulls 2. That has been a common thread through these first 7 minutes now. Really struggling under the weight of this pressure, high pressure at that, from FC Cincinnati 2. That's a key to this match for Tyrone Marshall's bunch in FC Cincinnati 2, as that one goes deflecting off the official. He said to his team, they need to be very, very aggressive in this match. Great respect shown by this FC Cincinnati 2 coaching staff for what New York Red Bulls 2 can bring to the table in terms of high-octane offense. Back-to-back matches they've scored within the first 15 minutes. That hacked away for an errant clearance out, and this is a throw for Red Bull New York in a great spot. Edge of the area, the throw from Mosquera. Chirilla runs that down, wins a throw now for FC Cincinnati 2. Worked out wide in Bomadim. Looking to play Chirilla through, and that pass not on point. That was Amir Daly. A big boost back in the lineup for FC Cincinnati 2 to get Amir Daly, their captain, back. Had suffered the knock preseason that took him out of action for the first 3 fixtures of the year. Tyrone Marshall said that was a huge reason why they sputtered to the start that they did. But against NYC FC 2, they really wanted to work the ball through Amir Daly on that wide channel on the outside, the top side of the attack, as there's a whistle for a stoppage. That was intentional, Tyrone Marshall said, and he felt like they had great success working the ball through on that top side of the attack. And now here's New York Red Bull on it. Mosquera thought he want to throw in. Instead, it will be an FC Cincinnati 2 throw-in. Now a throw earned by New York Red Bulls 2. Mehmeti will work it forward now. Touched inside. Rossborough at the byline. Tries to cross it in. And running out of room, it will be a goal kick for Paul Walters. And Rossborough none too thrilled with the ruling. Rodriguez will sound his whistle again, warn Paul Walters for a bit of time wasting there. One thing that Tyrone Marshall led on in the midweek catch-up session, he feels like that this Red Bull New York side has really changed the style of play that they have adhered to over the last few years, as that nudged back into the midst of Paul Walters again. Marshall said that there's alignment now. You can tell by watching the way that Red Bull New York first team plays under Sandro Schwarz and how they play here under Ibrahim Sekagaya. As we have a whistle for a stoppage, Chirilla went down with a quick knock. But he feels like there's real alignment if you look at how both of these sides play. They've gone away a bit from that web passing that this Red Bull New York 2 side has employed over the years. They want to play more end-to-end a bit. Marshall said that their ability to show multiple formations and switch on the fly throughout a match really added an extra layer of preparation to FC Cincinnati this week. Another whistle sounds from Rodriguez. It's always such great insight shown when you get a chance to talk to these coaches, because on the other touchline, Ibrahim Sekagaya, when talking about this matchup with FC Cincinnati, he said, look, we're not an organization that, yes, we obviously train and prepare for the opposition, but we focus more on what we want to do. He said the moment we focus on what the opposition wants to do, we lose focus completely and we cede control of a match to them. It's more about what New York Red Bull wants to do, imposing their own style on a match than necessarily countering a bit of a tactical chess match going on with the other side, as there's another whistle from Carlos Rodriguez. Sekagaya, throughout training this week, the message to his team is, look, just play our game, play our style, and we will come out successful. Out for another throw in for Yorkaev Caicedo. Long ball played ahead in the vicinity of Chirilla. Takes the touch on the move. Now Chirilla! Stefan Chirilla breaks the contest open. Less than 15 in. He's on the board in 2025. And FC Cincinnati are on the board 1-0. An impressive ball lifted ahead. Chirilla, an even more deft touch on the move. That is as brilliant of a goal as you'll see from the 18-year-old, former Philadelphia Union Academy man, beating Aiden Stokes. Tyrone Marshall has challenged the young Chirilla to really start contributing more offensively. He said, we know what he's capable of. We know what his quality is. They've wanted to see him step up in the goal-scoring department. And now 5 matches into his 2025 campaign, he chips in his first. What a start for FC Cincinnati 2, and they want more. Worked back up ahead. Chirilla on it now. Chirilla tries to cut to the outside. He goes down. That will draw a whistle, and it will draw more. Juan Gutierrez shown yellow for the first time today. Keep an eye on the left side of your screen right here. Chirilla so crafty, so shifty, really putting Juan Gutierrez in a disadvantageous spot. Not much you can do, but that's not the foul you want to take there if you're Gutierrez. Yes, you have to find a way to inhibit Stefan Chirilla from getting to that left foot that he wants to get, but this gives FC Cincinnati 2 now a free kick in a really good spot outside the area, and Boumediene over it. Boumediene works it in, headed toward goal, advantage doubled in a flash. Brian Schaefer, moments after FC Cincinnati 2 goes in front, tacks on his first. 2-0 FCC 2. It's Chirilla winning the foul that sets the free kick up, and quite the spot for FC Cincinnati 2. And then Brian Schaefer in the thick of it. The 22-year-old defender. He's a stalwart along the back, known for his defensive prowess, getting it done on the offensive side. Tyrone Marshall said this week, Brian Schaefer is one of those unsung heroes for this team that you just don't hear about. He said he deserves a first-team contract somewhere, whether it's here in Cincinnati or elsewhere. Brian Schaefer coming up big, Kinji and Boumediene going down, but now he's back up to his feet. Most MLS fans will tell you that energy drink soccer was the moniker that was given to Red Bull New York first team in the early 2000s, the early days of MLS. Right now, it's FC Cincinnati 2 playing with that flying and fast style. A bright start for Tyrone Marshall's bunch. They switch this out wide. It's Daly. Boumediene now. Boumediene works it up ahead. It's Caicedo. Rolls it central. Just missing. Tega Ikoba flying toward goal. York IF Caicedo just turning on the Jets on the left side of your screen by centimeters, missing Tega Ikoba. Otherwise, that would have been 3-0 FC Cincinnati 2. And very quickly, FCC 2 earn another corner. How about this start for FC Cincinnati 2? 2 goals less than 20 minutes in, and now FCC 2 set for their third corner of this first half. Booted back stick, keeper came out. He got a piece of it, and it does go deflecting off of an FC Cincinnati 2 player. It goes for an Aiden Stokes goal kick. Here's FC Cincinnati to another midfield takeaway. That is an area they're so good at. 100 balls won in the midfield this season, third most in MLS Next Pro. Rolled ahead a foot race. Daly won't win it. In fact, no one will, and Stokes will have yet another goal kick. St. Elizabeth's Healthcare is proud to serve northern Kentucky and southeastern Indiana, committed to leading these communities to be among the healthiest in the nation. As the official healthcare provider for FC Cincinnati 2, St. Elizabeth provides the highest quality care across Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. To get care now, visit stelizabeth.com. A lift up ahead for Red Bull New York. Mohamed Sofo, the man down. As Brian Schaefer shown yellow for that challenge right there. It was Sofo leading the way. Rojas, the man taken down. Just an ill-timed challenge by Schaefer, who has been so bright to start this contest. Presents a variety of options, albeit from a sharp angle. Still a good spot for this set piece if you're Red Bull New York. You can try to curl this in toward the top of the 18 and get something going there, or just drop it in the thick of it. We've seen FC Cincinnati 2 have success doing exactly that, playing it into a crowd. Line drive, it does go into the crowd in the vicinity of Rojas, but cleared away. Rojas, one of the new acquisitions for Red Bull New York, acquired via loan from Herediano. That loan has a purchase option on it. He's a talented player, 12 goals, 66 appearances in the Costa Rican Premier League prior to arriving via that loan with Red Bull New York. Jarvis works it ahead. Now back towards Sofo. In the area, Sofo, batted away by Walters. It still lives, shot takes a deflection. That is how quick Red Bull New York can get forward and put pressure on a team. When Ibrahim Sekagaya says play our style of soccer, that is what he means right there. First corner one for New York Red Bulls 2. Line drive again, in swinging. Cleared away. Now worked on to Sofo. Sofo's cross. Headed away again. Caicedo will get to it first. Caicedo taken down. No foul given. Carlos Rodriguez, center referee. You see him there in the center of your screen. Wave the arms. Play quickly restarted here by Red Bull New York. Rojas going down again. Last 5 minutes, Andy Rojas, he has been the worst for wear on a couple of these strong challenges from FC Cincinnati 2. Winning a free kick almost in the same spot he did just 3 minutes ago. Mosquera sits over it. Mosquera drives it in. Short clearance away. Second ball served back in. Daly's clearance goes popping out of play. A goal kick awarded to Paul Walters. Ibrahim Sekagaya's team, as he describes it, relentless, intense. That is their style of play. Win the ball back as high as possible, be a high-pressing team. But right now, we're not seeing that with effectiveness from Red Bull New York. Walters' goal clearance will resume play. Their high press has been neutralized early on by Cincinnati's own high press. We've seen when Red Bull New York has had the ball pinned back deep in their own defensive third of things, as many as 4 or 5 white shirts of Tyrone Marshall's bunch, and that has really canceled out what Red Bull New York has wanted to do. A whistle for a handball. Pingy and Bomadem will get things set for this FC Cincinnati free kick. They've had a real knack for earning set pieces. Fourth free kick, 2 corners to go along with it. Mangione stands across up, falling through, cleared away. Will go out for an FC Cincinnati 2 throw in. Chirilla can't take the touch on that near touch line, and it's a change of possession that will occur via the throw in. Biggest takeaway for Ibrahim Sekagaya after that loss, or I should say that win against Chicago Fire for Red Bull New York, was finish their chances. Haven't done that as well so far as FC Cincinnati 2 probing again. Knocked out of play, FCC 2, another throw. Caicedo looking for the long throw into the area. Clearance intercepted by Jimenez. They'll cycle this one around. Adnan. Still Adnan now, pokes it over to Daly. Beautiful passing right now for FC Cincinnati 2. Cycled back over to Chirilla. Jimenez. Looking back forward, they wanted him Bomadem out wide, couldn't connect with him. Jarvis trying to turn this into a counterattack. Rolled up ahead. Mosquera will get it. Laid off Jarvis. Gutierrez. Back to Mosquera. Back stick. Headed away. Tyrone Marshall challenging his team to be high energy, come out strong. The start was what he said would win or lose his team this match. Chirilla will keep it in on the end line. Now Chirilla goes down. We play on. Marshall, though, telling FC Cincinnati this week that the energy they would start with would determine how this match would go. Come out strong, negate Red Bull New York's early energy on the press. They have adhered to that game plan expertly, to a T, FC Cincinnati has. It's the reason why they have this 2-0 lead now that we're at the half-hour mark played. Carlos Rodriguez will whistle for a stoppage. Aerial collision between Caicedo and Mosquera. Keep an eye right on the bottom of your screen right here. As Caicedo goes up in white and just crashes into the back of the head of Mosquera. You saw at the end of that replay, he was furiously rubbing the back of his head. They try to help it on to Sofo. Sofo laid off out wide, Dos Santos. Red Bull New York win a throw in. This portion of the match is brought to you by MedPace, an official partner of FC Cincinnati. Long throw in for Red Bull New York, promptly headed back away. Gutierrez plays it back ahead. Out wide again is Mosquera. Into the middle, Jarvis, he'll turn. Back to Mosquera. Mosquera looking for the cross to the back post. That has been where Red Bull New York has tried to work the majority of their offense from, this near channel and sending crosses to the back post. Haven't had success on it. They'll try again from this near side. Mosquera again, he'll switch it. Dos Santos gives it up. Mehmeti now. FC Cincinnati too, keeping their shape compact defensively, really closing off these passing lanes for Aiden Jarvis and Red Bull New York. You can see the frustration for Jarvis. He just didn't have any options going forward. Gutierrez now. Mosquera again. Sofo, Rossborough, rolls it across. Jarvis. Ball's back to Mehmeti and worked ahead. Mosquera will lay it off. It's Rossborough at the byline. Tries to square it. And it's cleared out for another Red Bull New York corner. Less high-octane up-tempo, more attacking in waves that time for Ibrahim Sekagaya's team. Showing good patience, trying to wait for gaps to open up in that compact FC Cincinnati 2 defense. And for their efforts, they win another corner as Rossborough will take it. Rossborough boots it to the near post, quickly headed away. Mehmeti serves it back in. And again, headed away by FC Cincinnati 2. Look at the numbers that FC Cincinnati have back right now defensively. That crossed in, and sprawling on it is Paul Walters. Carlos Rodriguez will sound another whistle. Having a spirited word with Juan Gutierrez in gold.
It's his third foul after the yellow.
FC Cincinnati 2, even before they took the lead, they have controlled the rhythm and the tempo at which this contest has been played, and Boumediene muscled off the ball there by Jarvis, but tight ropes the touchline, and Boumediene back on it. Tyrone Marshall had said this week he wanted FC Cincinnati to make Red Bull New York predictable. They have done that so far in this first half. If you're Red Bull New York, as there's a strong challenge, and now some more after the whistle. Steven Jimenez taking exception to the Jair Colahuaso foul against him, and Colahuaso shown yellow. Right here in the middle of your screen, 37 in white, is Steven Jimenez, who goes down and immediately pops up. You can see the two of them, little collision, shoulder check, Jimenez having words. Colahuaso, an imposing physical presence at 6'4" out of Ecuador. A little too aggressive though, he's shown yellow. Trouble with the clearance, and now finally settled and cleared out of play. FC Cincinnati 2 will have the throw, but going back to what Tyrone Marshall was saying, wanting to make Red Bull New York predictable, his side has done that. For Red Bull New York now, how do you respond in this second half is the biggest question that Ibrahim Sekagaya's team has to answer. Behind the 8 ball, 2-0. Not a position they're necessarily used to these last couple of fixtures. They've been able to start on the front foot so strong. As mentioned, scored within the first 15 minutes against Hudson River Derby rivals NYCFC 2. Did so again against Chicago Fire 2, and a strong performance. Colahuaso is down over on that far touchline, and he is not getting up yet. That is Dos Santos, in fact. Matthew Dos Santos grabbing at that lower left leg. Right here in the middle of your screen, right there, Amir Daly, 42 in white, going in strong, trying to win the ball back. Just catching Matthew Dos Santos. Dos Santos back to his feet, though. Play will resume. A match like this, though, going back to Red Bull New York, it will really test the mettle of what Ibrahim Sekagaya has called a younger team that is still feeling their way out through game management processes this season. Again, issues at the back here for Red Bull New York. That has been something that has plagued them in this first half. Now a whistle, though, from Steven Jimenez, and it's quickly restarted. 4 different times in this first half, Red Bull New York have either failed to clear the ball away or just outright turned it over in their own defensive third. A midfield turnover that time as Caicedo had it. Awkward move forward on the outside, and the Red Bull New York man is down. We play on. Sofo knifing through defenders. Jarvis carries it on. Jarvis trying to negotiate through 2 defenders. He goes down. It will be a throw in for Red Bull New York. Virginia Cavalier, Aiden O'Connor, he will throw it in. Ibrahim Sekagaya calling him a player who underscores the player pathway element of this Red Bull New York Academy structure. One of the strongest in MLS. Long throw, instead finds the gloves of Paul Walters. This portion of the match is brought to you by TQL, official logistics partner of FC Cincinnati. TQL, also the naming partner of FC Cincinnati's first team stadium in downtown Cincinnati, one of the newer and most impressive home venues for an MLS side. A turnover in the defensive third by FC Cincinnati 2. Red Bull New York trying to ask some questions here of this defense. Unable to, instead resulting in a foul. It has been that kind of first half if you're Red Bulls 2. Long ball lifted up ahead on the restart. Stokes will roll it back out. Playing in a bit of a different shape this afternoon is Red Bull New York 2. Sofo trying to cut to the inside. Now Sofo will commit the foul as Caicedo goes down. Caicedo still down in a heap. Sofo, 37 in gold, trying to cut to the inside, and you see right there in the middle of your screen the feet getting tangled up between Caicedo and Sofo, who was trying to turn away from pressure. He was the worst for wear on that. Mohamed Sofo shown yellow. That makes Gutierrez, Colahuaso, and Mohamed Sofo all carrying yellows now for New York Red Bulls 2. Play restarted from the goal clearance of Walters. Rolled up ahead. Looking for Andy Rojas. That goes out across the touchline. FC Cincinnati 2 will have the throw in. Ibrahim Sekagaya there at the bottom of your screen, continuing to try to pull the appropriate strings for Red Bull New York here in this contest, trying to pull them back in it. Traditionally playing in more of a 4-2-3-1 shape. They came out to start this contest in a 4-3-3, but he really has emphasized all season long the importance of the sixes, the holding mids, so to speak, in this 4-2-3-1. Said that they set the stage for what this team wants to do, their ability to go forward. FC Cincinnati 2. More high pressing here in the waning minutes of this first half. A nice move there by Rojas to get free. Rolled ahead, Rossborough tries to play Sofo through. Excellent recovery from Amir Daly with the clearance. Quick throw in. Jarvis now with it. Cross comes in, headed away by Schaefer. Now thumped further clear by FC Cincinnati 2. Mehmeti will head it on. Mehmeti, Colahuaso, Jarvis, as well as Julian Hall, who we mentioned at the beginning of our broadcast. Just a few of the names that had a chance to train with Red Bull New York first team, Coachella Valley Invitational. Here's Sofo, he'll roll it central, deflected back toward goal, still loose, and popping up into the gloves of Paul Walters. Walters has been up to the task so far in this first half as Red Bull New York continues peppering him with not necessarily shots, but just dangerous spells of possession. That time, an attempt from Jarvis inside the area. Walters makes the grab, and it is his first save of the afternoon. Mangione pulls that ball in, works it out wide to Amir Daly. Daly, in just his second game of the season, he's played very well on that top side of the attack. Walters taking too long with the goal clearance. Officially 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. That really the first time we've seen some issues along the back for FC Cincinnati too. They come away unscathed. It's out for a throw. Intercepted by Mbomedem. The midfield is really the bread and butter. It's where FC Cincinnati 2 earns their keep. Time and time again, Red Bull New York have struggled to get across that midfield stripe because of the strength of the midfield of FC Cincinnati 2. They do get through the midfield now that time. Toward Walters. Walters leaping, and Walters making a highlight reel grab. Andy Rojas, a casual approach into the final third, and Walters at full stretch, keeping FC Cincinnati 2's sheet clean right now. Almost an entire first half with no shots on target for Red Bull New York, and now 2 within the last 2 minutes, both stopped by Paul Walters. Daly's cross blocked out. Akoba can't get to it in time. Sofo up ahead to Rossborough. Rossborough's cross claimed by Walters. And that will do it for the first half. Carlos Rodriguez sounds the whistle. A dream start for FC Cincinnati 2 at home. 2 goals, just a handful of minutes apart. FC Cincinnati 2 up 2-0. That is our score at the half. Let's look back at the MLS Next Pro Goal of the Week. New York Red Bulls 2 midfielder Ibrahim Kasule is this week's winner. Following a corner kick, the Ugandan international controlled the ball with his chest before unleashing a rocket past the Chicago Fire keeper, extending his side's lead to 3-1 on the way to a 3-2 victory. Red Bulls 2 sits atop the Northeast Division standings with 10 points at this early stage of the season. Ibrahim Kasule, the winner of the MLS Next Pro Goal of the Week. An impressive strike. We've got highlights from earlier this week, a player profile, and more. It's halftime in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
My vibe.
Action.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
First half. Carlos Rodriguez sounds the whistle. Back inside NKU Soccer Stadium. It's halftime between FC Cincinnati and Red Bull New York. It's time for a player feature, so let's get to know Huntsville City's Christian Kofi.
That's a poor pass, and it may open up space for Kofi against his former side. Christian Kofi scores! Kofi, an excellent move as he sends the ball out wide. Cross comes in, and Christian Kofi, he is extremely dynamic.
Christian Kofi has had quite an international journey. He spent time in the Monaco Academy, where he would see a young Kylian Mbappe learning his craft. He's played for clubs in France, Italy, and Spain, before coming to MLS Next Pro with Chicago last season. And now, he's with Huntsville. So what drew him to MLS Next Pro at this stage of his career?
I will say the American dream for me to have the opportunity to come and play in America was crazy, like a unique experience. So I feel like year to year, like the level of the league evolve. They bring a lot of very good players for the MLS, but also for the Next Pro. So it's crazy.
Kofi's experience with several different countries, coaches, and systems has shaped him as a player, such that his coach Chris O'Neill sees something truly special in him.
He has an ability that isn't often replicated, and I would say that he is a special player in the sense that, especially 1-versus-1, he has the ability to create off of a dribble, get out of tight situations, but then he also has the vision to be able to play a final pass that other players just don't see. And you know, I think for us, he's extremely exciting, and we're extremely happy to have him.
The MLS, I think the next step, it will be maybe for me it's the MLS. It's my target. And if it's not happen, I will just try to do my best to arrive to MLS. My goal is Huntsville. The minimum is the playoff, but for us it's like bring the trophy in Huntsville to our fans, because I think they deserve that. I think we have like for me, the best fan base in the league. And personally, it's like to be the best player in the league, if I can. Yeah, I will say that.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake, and I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace, I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself, and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself, and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Action. Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake, and I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace, I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. my vibe.
Back in Highland Heights, Kentucky, halftime continues at NKU Soccer Stadium. Highlights and stats are around the corner, but first, Inter Miami 2 and Orlando City B played a special match at the Generation Adidas Cup. April Marie Aguilar was there and files this report.
What's up, guys? I'm April Marie Aguilar, coming to you from Florida, directly from IMG Academy, where we just witnessed an intense Sunshine State Derby. Let's take a look back at all of the action.
It's the Florida Derby, Inter Miami 2 against Orlando City B on match week number 5. Orlando City is looking to rise to the top of the charts, where Chattanooga is also at the top, while Inter Miami looks to make its push to the top of the table. The whistle blows. Shaq Muhammad starts us off here at MLS Next Pro at the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup.
From the start, both teams came out with energy, but it was Miami who struck first. Tyler Hall opened the scoring in the 16th minute with an assist by Bailey Sparks. It wouldn't be long before OCB equalized with Tahir Reed-Brown finding the back of the net in the 23rd minute. During the first half, we caught up with MLS Next Pro President and EVP Charles Alchek and Ali Curtis, MLS Next Pro SVP of Competition and Operations, to get their thoughts on this year's GA Cup.
For the Academy players who are here, from the players from around the world who are watching this game, they're getting a glimpse of what the potential is for the best young players in our system coming through our academies to our Next Pro teams.
This is probably the best youth tournament in North America, so for our young players to be able to experience what the next level looks like, in person, it's just been a really great experience.
Just over 20 minutes later, right before halftime, Mateo Saja was assisted once again by Bailey Sparks. Miami took that lead into the half. While the players took to the locker rooms, we took this time to chat with some of the Academy players that were in attendance.
Why is it so important to watch these pros up close and personal?
It's a pleasure to just come watch in a beautiful atmosphere at this big tournament, come watch our team support. You just got to show love, because one day we could be on that field too.
Seeing them, seeing what the next level is like, seeing where you can see yourself fall into a team where you see what you need to work on, take the good habits, the good things out of them, and what you can see that you can apply to your game.
The second half kicked off with Miami continuing to apply pressure against Orlando City B. Idol Zeltzer Zubaira bagged what would turn out to be the match winner for Inter Miami 2 in the 55th minute. Both teams would fiercely contest the rest of the second half until Shaq Muhammad brought OCB back within one. But it was not enough, as the match would end 3-2 in Miami's favor.
There's the full-time whistle. It's 5 consecutive unbeaten for Miami in the Florida Derby. They withstand the late Orlando City burst to capture a 3-2 win.
Tonight was another perfect example of the pathway in action. Miami heads down south with 3 points, and for now, that's a wrap from us at this year's GA Cup. We'll catch you guys next time. Adios!
Action!
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake, and I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace, I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
We're back in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Halftime continues here inside NKU Soccer Stadium. It's been all FC Cincinnati so far over Red Bull New York. Let's take a look at how we got to this point. First half highlights for you. What a first half it was if you're Tyrone Marshall's team. It got going less than 15 minutes in. A deft touch on the move from Stefan Chirilla. Tucks it home. Short side on the keeper. A tidy finish for Chirilla, his first goal of the season. FC Cincinnati 2, they weren't done though. Neither was Chirilla. Tries to weave to the outside. He's taken down. That would draw a free kick. And FC Cincinnati 2. And Brian Schaefer would tack on another set piece excellence straight from the training ground if you're Tyrone Marshall's team. As the half would go on, Red Bull New York would start to find their footing offensively. Aiden Jarvis would put a shot on target just before stoppage time, the first for Red Bull New York, and then right back down, lunging, claiming that cross as Paul Walters. 2 first-half saves for the 22-year-old from Ohio. That is how we got to where we're at in the first half. And here's a look at the upcoming schedule for MLS NEXT Pro. Some great contests on the docket. Chicago Fire, who we've talked about a lot in this first half because of the commonality in opponent. Chicago Fire, have played FC Cincinnati 2 and Red Bull New York in consecutive fixtures. They'll take on Toronto Fire 2. Vancouver Whitecaps taking on Dynamo Dos in the 9 p.m. slot on Wednesday. A busy slate on Wednesday. Atlanta United 2, Carolina Core. Philadelphia Union 2, one of only 4 unbeatens left in MLS NEXT Pro, looking for just their second win of the season. They have 3 draws to their credit. They'll take on NYC FC 2 in that 7:30 p.m. contest. And then New England Revolution 2, Columbus Crew 2 will get things going to start out match day 7. A big slate of contests. It ends with Ventura County and Timbers 2. Just one matchup on Thursday. Minnesota United 2. Jeremy Hall's Minnesota United 2 taking on Colorado Rapids 2 out in the Western Conference. It's been a strong start to the season for Minnesota United 2. 3 wins in 3 matches played. They currently find themselves in 3rd place in the Western Conference table. Meanwhile, Colorado Rapids 2, they did have the momentous win on the road a couple of weeks ago against St. Louis City 2. Rapids 2 finds themselves tied with LAFC 2 with 7 points in that 7 slot, each identical 2-1-1 records. Rapids 2, they've yet to play a home game coming into that Thursday 8 p.m. contest. All of their first 4 fixtures of the season have come away from home. A nice reprieve if you're Rapids 2 to finally get a chance to be back at home. Although it's not an easy task taking on what has been a hot start, a flying start, pun fully intended for the Young Loons. Speaking of hot starts, FC Cincinnati 2 looking to replicate the hot start they had. 2 goals within the first 20 minutes for Tyrone Marshall's team. He had said coming into this match that they needed to start strong. That is how they could neutralize Red Bull New York. And boy, oh boy, have they done exactly that. Carlos Rodriguez sounds the whistle. We're back underway for half number 2. Scudamore Field at NKU Soccer Stadium here in Highland Heights, Kentucky. It's our site, along with our Season Pass team. I'm Jake Griffith. A pleasure to have you along with us. Cincinnati in the white, Red Bull New York in the brownish tinged kits. Play their style is what Ibrahim Sekagaya told his team coming into this. He called it a key to the match, that they needed to come out, impose themselves on this contest. They have not done that. In fact, it's been FC Cincinnati 2 being the aggressive, the relentless team, imposing themselves. And here is FC Cincinnati 2 again, right back down the pitch. Caicedo navigating. Jimenez now, they'll switch it. Giving back up to Amir Daly. Jimenez Looking for options now. He'll leave this one off to Andre Chirilla. Whistle from Carlos Rodriguez, and this will be more. Rojas, I should say, shown yellow. No, Adnan will have this free kick for FC Cincinnati 2. Former Stanford Cardinal, all Pac-12 pick under Jeremy Gunn. One back by FC Cincinnati 2, rolled central, a short clearance, pulled back in by Mangione. Now here's Amir Daly. Give it up to Kinji and Bomadim. High press, one back by Daly momentarily, and it earns a corner for FC Cincinnati 2. FC Cincinnati 2 picking right up where they left off in the first half. Another strong start. It earns them their third corner of the evening. And Bomadim will have it. Bomadim hangs this back post, headed on toward goal, cleared off the line. What a save by Stokes, but the pressure lives. Corner won by Bomadim. Aiden Stokes just pulling this one off the goal line. Keep an eye on the man in green, takes a deflection. What a reflex save. That one going in the highlight reel for sure for Aiden Stokes, but more pressure to deal with. Glanced back toward goal, hacked away by Red Bull New York. FC Cincinnati 2 really tightening the screws these first 4 minutes of this second half. Red Bull New York just desperately trying to break out of their own end. So far, cannot. And Bomadim rolls it laterally. It's Mangione. His shot deflected, and it falls to Sofo. Mehmeti. They'll play this out to Mosquera. In that first half, Red Bull New York really wanted to go on the outside channels to Mosquera and whip balls in with pace. Really unsuccessful in doing that. Just 5 crosses completed in open play in the first half. Now we have a whistle from Carlos Rodriguez. Flag came up. Offside positioning FC Cincinnati 2 found themselves in. The struggles with crosses, not characteristic of what we've seen from Red Bull New York this season as it's headed back on. They had 5 accurate crosses in the win against Chicago Fire 2, completing the 10th most per match in MLS Next Pro this season. Another whistle sounds from Carlos Rodriguez. Red Bull New York man, Juan Gutierrez, he's taken down. Red Bull organization, I should say, a theme in Juan Gutierrez's career. He is a Red Bull Bragantino Youth Academy product before coming over on a loan to Red Bull New York. 38 appearances, make it 39 after today over the last 2 seasons for New York Red Bulls 2. Here is Red Bull New York. Touched inside, looking for Rojas. O'Connor heads it out. Yorkaev Caicedo will have a throw in. Tyrone Marshall has highlighted Yorkaev Caicedo numerous times throughout our conversations this season. A big reason why crossing also important to what FC Cincinnati wants to do, and they do have some new faces on the outside. Dylan Hurtado, Yorkaev Caicedo, 2 of those young players that Tyrone Marshall says are still learning and feeling their way through their roles, their positioning on this FC Cincinnati team. Last year, he said, if you look at our team a season ago, we were so good on crosses because we had Moises Tablante, we had a healthy Amir Daly. They haven't had that in Amir Daly until the match against NYCFC2. Moises Tablante, he moves on to other opportunities in his career. And it has equaled some growing pains on the outside for FC Cincinnati 2. Right now, though, as Daly in on the action there, no pains for FC Cincinnati 2 in terms of the high press. Aggressively, they've won it back again, and they've won another throw. Up ahead, looking for Tega Ikoba. Some trouble with the clearance here. Chirilla tries to poke it free. Forcing the issue was Tanner Rossborough. It earns a corner for Red Bull New York. We highlighted Tanner Rossborough in our broadcast open because with Julian Hall not in the 18 today, that would place more importance on the creativeness of the front three in this 4-3-3 for Ibrahim Sekagaya. Rossborough has been a bit quiet. Has just taken 21 touches so far, but has no shots to his credit. Corner one, in swung by Red Bull New York, headed over the bar and out. Juan Gutierrez voicing his displeasure with Carlos Rodriguez that it was not consecutive corners for Red Bull New York, and Rodriguez sounding the whistle, giving a little bit of a warning there to Juan Gutierrez. Here is this high press that's so characteristic for Red Bull New York. It wins it back. Here's Rojas. Work to the outside, headed in toward goal, bobbling it, but finally corralling it in is Paul Walters. That's what we did not see any in the first half for Red Bull New York. A welcome sign if you're Ibrahim Sekagaya that clearly your message in the halftime dressing room, your team paid attention to. Steered back to Paul Walters now. Red Bull New York starting to get numbers higher up the pitch. Aiming for that high tilt of field. Another whistle from Carlos Rodriguez will bring a stoppage to this match. Takes a deflection. Amir Daly will win a throw in now for FC Cincinnati 2. Koba tries to go through the middle, intercepted by Sofo. Countering now, Red Bull New York. Worked out wide, it's Mosquera. Give and go, back towards Sofo. Chirilla able to disrupt that. Now Stefan Chirilla trying to turn this upfield. Mbomadim, what a touch! Mbomadim! Liquid football for FC Cincinnati 2. And the Frenchman, Kenji Mbomadim, K magnifique. It's 3-0 FCC. FC Cincinnati 2, they've had success in this match playing Route 1 football. Long pass over the top to the center forward, and Kenji Mbomadim, he does the rest. 2 goals, 3 goal contributions on the year for their talisman. Now, New York Red Bull 2 will make changes 3, including Ibrahim Kassoule. We showed you during halftime he won Goal of the Week in MLS Next Pro for his strike against Chicago Fire 2. 2 goal contributions on the young season for Kassoule. FC Cincinnati 2 wasting no time grabbing that momentum they had throughout the duration of the first 45 minutes. 3 unanswered goals for the home side. Red Bull New York on it now, desperately seeking an answer. Bendetti, miscommunication there between he and Mosquera. Schwarz, Kassoule, and Bendetti were the 3 changes. Mentioned Ibrahim Kassoule trying to bring just something, some semblance of an attacking presence onto the pitch. More trouble at the back now for Red Bull New York. Poked ahead, Tega Ikoba. In the area, he'll lay it off Jimenez. It's the 6th time now we've seen Red Bull New York unable to clear it from their back line, resulting in a turnover. Worked ahead, Schaefer able to draw a whistle. Mehmeti not thrilled, 77 in gold there. Can't believe that he was shown a whistle. You see him continuing to protest a bit. FC Cincinnati 2, they've already scored off 1 set piece this evening. Ever so dangerous is Tyrone Marshall's bunch. Bomadim curls it back post, headed in, a whistle will wash it out. A goal from Kenji Mbomadim in this second half, coupled with goals in the first half from Stefan Chirilla and Brian Schaefer. Those are the difference makers so far. And Koba goes down. Tega Ikoba, the FC Cincinnati 2 player down. Keep an eye right here in the middle of your screen. Tries to take the touch, collides with Kasule in gold. Ikoba back to his feet, although was slow to get up. We've played over an hour now in this contest. FC Cincinnati 2, they'll draw another whistle and another free kick. They've stuck to the game plan exactly as it was laid forth by their gaffer, Tyrone Marshall. Come out, strong start, high energy, neutralize what Red Bull New York wants to do on the attacking side. Red Bull 2 have had no attacking identity save for the quick spell late at the end of that first half where they generated 2 quick shots on target, both stopped by Paul Walters. It has been a slog for Red Bull New York. A whistle and now an opportunity for a change for the aforementioned Red Bulls 2 side. Steven Serwata will come on. This portion of the match is brought to you by First Financial Bank, official bank of FC Cincinnati. Headed back on by FC Cincinnati 2, attacking in waves right now. Oh, what a brilliant pass. Finding Daly, knifing inside. Daly goes down, no whistle. Jarvis trying to spring Red Bull New York free. Rolls this one ahead. Bendetti fights off a challenge. Jarvis now. Cross whipped toward goal, bouncing around, it finds its way in. Takes a deflection off Brian Schaefer, and Red Bull New York have life in the second half. Keep an eye on the left side of your screen. 38 in white, Brian Schaefer just doesn't turn his hips enough to be able to hack that ball away. Had a beat on Rossborough to the ball, but because of the hips turn toward goal, his clearance deflects on the back of the net. Had the goal to double the advantage for FC Cincinnati 2, and now a mistake for Schaefer pulls a goal back for Red Bull New York. Sometimes all it takes is one, and now some new energy at the restart for Ibrahim Sekagaya's team. Kasule will thread it ahead. Ball's back to Colahuaso. He'll get it back now. Touched inside. Mosquera went down. No whistle. Now rolled up ahead. Battling on that outside. Aiden O'Connor will get the better of Tega Ikoba. Still a long way to go if you're Ibrahim Sekagaya's bunch, trying to climb out of what is now a 2-goal deficit, but you have to start somewhere for Red Bull New York, and they have 1 goal now, looking for a second. Laid off, looking for Serwata. That pass misses, and it's out for a goal kick. Still, if you're Red Bull New York, though, you have just the 2 shots on target. Both of those came in a 2-minute span across the 40th minute back in the first half. They do just have 5 shots to their credit, being outshot 9-5, 4-2 in shots on target. The reason being they haven't had much presence going forward. FC Cincinnati, too, has done a good job of getting bodies back on defensive recoveries. Here, though, is Kasule. Fighting, challenges off, gives it up. Mosquera stands across back post, and Rossborough heads it over the bar. Mosquera a bit unselfish here. You see the idea, the execution just not there for Red Bull New York. Rossborough immediately, as soon as he headed it, he knew. You could tell by his body language. The theme for Ibrahim Sekagaya is attack together. He wants them to move Red Bull New York as a fluid unit. We are seeing more of that in this second half since the clock turned across the 45th minute. Good fluidity right now for the attack from Red Bull New York. Rossborough pushes that out wide, or in front, I should say, and it's cleared out wide. Rossborough, his MLS Next Pro contract in the offseason converted to an MLS deal, is yet to make his official MLS debut, but the youngest ever player is Tanner Rossborough to appear in a match for Red Bull New York 2. Laid off out wide, it's Jarvis. He'll swing it in. Mehmedi works it back to the near side. Mosquera now. Mehmedi worked ahead. Colhuaso. Rossborough tried to touch it inside, no one there, and Amir Daly will hack it away. Again, here comes FC Cincinnati 2, utilizing that Route 1 style of play that they've had success. In fact, the goal for Kinji and Bomadim in this second half, a direct result of that direct style of play. Jimenez. Mangione will give it up. Trying to spring Caicedo free. Got a little ahead of himself, and Yorkaev Caicedo finds himself in an offside position. Tyrone Marshall is very high on Yorkaev Caicedo. We talked about him a handful of times in this match about what he brings, the crossing ability on the outside. Caicedo completing just shy of 83% of his passes this evening. Up ahead, here's Kasule. Leading the charge now, Bendetti. Man goes down, no foul given. Again, looped up ahead. It finds Mbomadim. Mbomadim taken down, and now he wants a whistle, but won't get it. Carlos Rodriguez content to let these teams play despite the physicality we've seen on display. 25 combined fouls. Back up, Bendetti now. There's Bendetti. More patience shown here for Red Bull New York, starting to ask some questions. And Bomadim sticks that right foot out and wins it back. Jarvis will carry it on, flanked with options. He'll give it up. Looking inside, Rossborough, telegraphed pass, falls to Chirilla. Chirilla can't beat that last challenge from Serwada. In the first half, FC Cincinnati, too, spent so much time in the attacking end of things, despite not having the lion's share of possession, but it has been more open in this second half, end to end. Red Bull New York showing more fluidity in this second half. It hasn't been enough, though, as time continues to tick away on this clock. A stoppage will give FC Cincinnati an opportunity to bring Machado, Opiemi, and Ben Aji on. Andre Chirilla and Mangione will also come off. Tyrone Marshall trying to make defensive-minded changes here for FC Cincinnati to anchor in this result. Get FC Cincinnati to its first regulation win since October 24, first regular season regulation win since October 24th against Orlando City B. Suru Opiemi, part of that defensive mindedness, bringing out Tega Ikoba, a forward, in for a midfielder. It's very clear what Tyrone Marshall aiming for. Headed out, Red Bull New York will have a throw. Telegraph pass, jumping on that is Amir Daly. Up ahead, Chirilla cuts to the outside. Chirilla has a go. Carlos Rodriguez right there in the middle of your screen, signifying that it's a corner won by FC Cincinnati 2. Everybody thought it was a goal kick. Even FC Cincinnati, they went all the way back down the pitch. But now they have an opportunity at a set piece. They've scored off a set piece today. Not a corner, but a set piece. And Boumediene, back post, headed away by Red Bull New York. Tyrone Marshall has said all season long when you talk to him that they're close. FC Cincinnati is just right there. He compared it to a puzzle, how you fit these pieces together, how it all looks when it's all said and done. And he said, we're just so close to putting it all together and ultimately getting to where we want to be. That doesn't change the fact that it's still, throughout the year, you have to improve, you have to grow. It's not a finished product until you hoist the MLS NEXT Pro Cup and have league glory, but it feels like that they have just been minutes away, little stretches of play where they haven't been able to finish off results, get wins to their credit. But so far today, Tyrone Marshall's team, save for the own goal, has been relatively flawless in their execution of a game plan set forth by this coaching staff, and it's paid dividends. You can see proof of concept of what Marshall is talking about on display of once they get healthy, once they get a full roster back, once they have time and trainings to get some rhythm, to gel, for players to learn their routines, they can be a dangerous team. Red Bull New York learning that today as Jarvis will pull this in. Out for a throw. This portion of the match is brought to you by Cintas, an official partner of FC Cincinnati. Pinballing around the midfield. FC Cincinnati coming up with a takeaway here. One promptly back, though, by Red Bull New York. Vendetti intercepted by Amir Daly. Chirilla. What a combination play with he and Jimenez. Chirilla trying to hug the onside line. Played central and Bomadim. Back to Chirilla. Worked back on by Jimenez. This is part of that puzzle piece that Tyrone Marshall has talked about learning to pick your spots going forward, game management situations. Well read defensively by Brian Schaefer, stepping up with the interception. Now quickly ahead is Caicedo. Cuts inside. Caicedo comes up limping a bit, grabbing at the right leg, but Caicedo on it now. Rolled ahead, and Bomadim back to Caicedo. Overruns the ball. Red Bull New York will make one more change. Dylan Sullivan, the former Clemson Tiger, will come on. Scudamore Field here at NKU Soccer Stadium, home of the Northern Kentucky Norsemen, the collegiate men's soccer team and the collegiate women's soccer team. Horizon League, a very, very strong, underrated mid-major soccer league. In fact, just this most recent MLS draft, Detroit Mercy's Josh Copeland, drafted 26th overall by Colorado Rapids. Copeland getting time playing with Colorado Rapids 2. Also, former Green Bay Phoenix defender Ezron Berry, starring for New England Revolution 2 the last 2 seasons. Berry has turned into quite a stalwart along the back. This ball played ahead for Red Bull New York. Through the middle, Mehmeti. Steered back to Schwartz, back over the top, looking for Serwada. That finds the byline, goal kick awarded. As we cross into the 80th minute now. After the own goal, a bit of momentum for Red Bull New York, but they just have not been able to capitalize on it. Still with the 2 shots on target. Came in the 42nd and 45th minute respectively, those 2 shots on target. Since then, relatively quiet up front on the attack. New York back on it. Bulls 2, as a whistle sounds from Carlos Rodriguez. They'll have a free kick. They've had majority of the possession, 56% possession so far in this match, but most coaches will tell you it's not about just having majority of the possession. It's more important about what you do with that possession. Think of in the USL Championship, a league that Red Bull New York very familiar with. Danny Cruz, Louisville City head coach. He talks a lot about this, about being purposeful with your possession. As this ball stretched ahead, out of reach, and across the end line. He had a fascinating quote ahead of their matchup with Tampa Bay Rowdies. He said, most people think you're not in control of the game if you don't have the possession, but if the other team doesn't care about possession, if they don't really value that possession, then that team is in control. They want you to think the other team is in control, and they're the ones that are holding tight on to the match. And that mantra proving so true for a team like Louisville City, 5-0-0 this season when losing the possession battle. So it's just about being intentional and purposeful with it. As we've seen on display for Red Bull New York this evening, they have had that 56% possession, but just the 2 shots on target. And like we saw last trip up the pitch, a wasted long ball forward. This one toward the end line, and it will be a corner. That time a bit more purposeful with it for Red Bulls 2. Fourth corner of the night for Red Bull New York. They'll short this. Haven't had much success on a long balls played to the back post. Chirilla jumps that pass. Now Chirilla springing FC Cincinnati 2 free. What a run back, recovered by Schwartz, disrupting Chirilla. It goes out for a throw, but that easily could have been a scoring opportunity for Stefan Chirilla. Right there on the right side of your screen. He's winded. He has put in a hard shift this evening. Chirilla goes down, draws a whistle. .39 touches today for Stefan Chirilla, a goal to his credit, also has an assist as well. Served in, Chirilla pokes it toward goal, cleared off the line. Colhuaso comes up limping, but a massive save there. A beautiful ball worked ahead, right to Chirilla. Bit of a misread for Aiden Stokes. A corner earned by FC Cincinnati 2. Chirilla will take this corner from the far flag. 6th corner of the evening for FCC2. Whipped in, Chirilla. Claimed by Aiden Stokes. Nudged out. Red Bull New York will have a throw in. Orlando City B on the docket coming up for this Red Bull New York side. 2 of their next 3 played away from home, including another derby match with NYC FC2 in May, early May that is. This portion of the match is brought to you by CTI, Clinical Trial and Consulting, an official partner of FC Cincinnati. Speaking of derbies, FC Cincinnati 2 has theirs coming up very soon. Columbus Crew 2, the Heck is Plausible derby. Easily one of the best names for a rivalry matchup across MLS and MLS NEXT Pro. Stemming from the FC Cincinnati Columbus Crew senior team derby, Hell is Real. Here is Red Bull New York. Now have it on this near touchline. Aforementioned Columbus Crew team. They'll take on New England Revolution, and Richie Torres coming up soon to kick off match week 7 on Wednesday night. Revs 2 and former All-Horizon League defender Hesron Berry having some early season success to start things out. 8 points. They find themselves 5th in the Eastern Conference table. Hesron Berry logged many matches here in his time with Green Bay, former Horizon League All-Defender, taking on NKU in league play. Worked ahead, Kasule takes a bounce off the face of the attacker for Red Bull New York. Now in Bowman Dim, will roll it ahead. Chirilla cuts it back, looks to center, leaves it off. Shot takes a deflection. Opiemi couldn't get it through. Falls back to Opiemi. Opiemi looking for the far post and missing wide. The press has been relentless tonight for FC Cincinnati 2. Falling right back off a deflection to Opiemi. Monsuru Opiemi, he'll go back and watch that and say, man, I want that opportunity back. Not to be had. There is a whistle for an injury stoppage. Steven Jimenez is down, grabbing both of his feet, and the FC Cincinnati training staff will trot on the pitch. Officially, there will be 4 minutes of stoppage time as the training staff continuing to work on Steven Jimenez, former FC Cincinnati Academy man. A dual national is Jimenez, called up to the US U15 training camps in 2022. 3 appearances with the U16 international side for the US. Fifth youngest in the history of MLS to ever debut at the senior level with FC Cincinnati. He walks off under his own power, and FC Cincinnati 2 will make a change. Kosa Manyena comes on to spell Steven Jimenez. Schaefer trying to head it away from Kasule. Now we'll boot it out of play. Here's Red Bull New York looking for something, the dying embers of this game. Rolled central, cleared away. It falls to Jarvis in the area. Work back out wide. Daly looking for the clearance. Rolling all the way back to Aiden O'Connor. Vendetti, cross, intercepted by Daly. Amir Daly will throw it in for FC Cincinnati too. Had to stop and tie his laces real quick. Now play can resume with a long throw in. It's early in the season. You never want to call matches must win. Now here's a whistle from Carlos Rodriguez. Aerial collision. Red Bull New York training staff motioned on the pitch. A look here, keep an eye on the middle of your screen. It's Mehmeti who's down. Aji comes flying in white. A heavy collision midair. Audrey Mehmeti, a homegrown signing, third youngest homegrown signing in Red Bull New York club history. Signed that homegrown deal back in December of 2024. The Red Bull New York training staff still looking at Mehmeti. Mehmeti, another dual national on this team from New York, but has appearances with the Albanian U15 side under his belt. 3 international caps with the Albania U15s, 7 for the US U15s. Mehmeti able to sit back up. Now we'll get up, thanks to the help of the training staff. Mehmeti will stay in this contest after being looked at by the Red Bull New York training team. Now Carlos Rodriguez will send Mehmeti off. One would have to expect that he would rejoin his team on the pitch once the whistle sounds. With that injury stoppage, we have crossed over the allotted 4 of stoppage time. And there is Mehmeti at the bottom of your screen, set to rejoin his team on the pitch. It's early in the season. You never want to call a match a must-win, but an FC Cincinnati side seeking their first of 2025 coming into this, they have answered the bell. An impressive performance turned in by Tyrone Marshall's team. 3 unanswered goals before the own goal, and now perhaps looking for another before the whistle. Aji. Aji will head for the corners, trying to burn more time off the clock. Steered all the way back to Paul Walters. Walters' clearance ahead, out for a Red Bull New York throw. Diving header away on the clearance. Here's Mehmeti back on the pitch after the injury stoppage. Cleared all the way back down, and there is the whistle from Carlos Rodriguez. A dominant Sunday evening for FC Cincinnati 2 at home. They pick up their first regulation win of 2025. 3 unanswered goals for Tyrone Marshall's bunch. Our man of the match, Stefan Chirilla. Chirilla, the opening goal of the match in the 14th minute. A touch on the move, turning, finding the far post, tucking it inside. The scoring drought over now for Stefan Chirilla. He earns man of the match honors. And FC Cincinnati 2 earns their first win of 2025. They run their record to 1-3-1, starting to put it together here entering the month of April. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Jake Griffith. Once again, our final score, FC Cincinnati 3, Red Bull New York 1. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good night from NKU Soccer Stadium.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.